Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Summer brings some unique challenges when it comes to pest control. Mosquitoes in the backyard, ants sneaking into your kitchen, and if you vacation in the wrong spot, it could mean bed bugs. Awful, but true. Southeast Termite and Pest Control has been doing this for more than 50 years. They know how to handle mosquitoes, ants, and they know how to eradicate bed bugs if you are so unlucky that you bring those things home with you. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, southeasttermite.com. Okay, quickie segment here, guys. We've been talking about UT scheduling. So all five of us made a list of 4 schools. I asked you to give me a list of 4 schools that if you were in charge of the schedule, teams you would put on there semi-regularly. In other words, you'd see them once a decade, kind of a thing. I tallied all the votes, and here's who we came up with. 3 votes for Notre Dame. It was 4, but since Notre Dame got 3, I changed one of mine to get somebody else in there. But 3 votes for Notre Dame. 2 votes for UCLA, who Tennessee has a great history with. 2 votes for USC, who Tennessee's only played a couple of times, maybe 3 times in history. Haven't played them since 1980 here in Knoxville. Another classic last-second field goal loss, by the way, that I remember as a kid. Memphis got on there twice. I voted for Memphis for a specific reason. Ryan, you did too. Why did you have Memphis on the list?
A couple reasons. One, recruiting. It's a way to maintain a presence in West Tennessee where you do get some good players. 2, you've got a big fan base there. You take over Memphis' stadium, that can send a national statement sometimes if that game's on TV. So I think there's a couple different reasons to have a presence there, and you have a good showing every time you're in Memphis.
And I had them on the list because if you're going to give me a bunch of sucky games, at least give me a reason to be interested in them. I would rather see Memphis than Akron. I realize there's danger in it, but as someone who watches these games, that's what I want to see. I want some stakes. And Memphis, if you lose to Memphis, that's embarrassing. It's also, if you're getting to crush Memphis, Tennessee fans will eat that up and love it. So to me, Memphis should be on the schedule. Let's take a look at all those that received 1 vote. If we can go back to that 1 vote, if we can go back to the full screen. Clemson on the list, Louisville, Ohio State, Washington. Ohio State was on the schedule at one point, and they canceled it when the Big Ten looked like they were going to change their schedule. It's 5.5 hours apart. Let me tell you, as someone who's been to a lot of Ohio State games, these fan bases should get to sample what the other one's doing. It's perfect. Yeah. Florida State, Michigan, Penn State, West Virginia, Georgia Tech. I put them in just for the one. It's Atlanta. It's a good place to recruit. Also, a lot of history there with Tennessee. North Carolina and UCF. Will, I'm going to start with you. In terms of the types of teams Tennessee should be bringing in, is it simply give me some names, or is there another reason for the votes that you cast?
1, give me names, right? 2, traditional, historic. I did Michigan, USC as big, historic, like Tennessee programs. The other thing, though, I didn't put Louisville. Because when I look at the disparity between the amount of money the Big Ten, the SEC is making versus the rest of the conferences, I wanted to, Louisville is knowing that athletics department a little bit. I know there's a desire to even put outside money in to make up for some of that television discrepancy, whereas some schools in the ACC might not have that. West Virginia was my other school. The biggest reason I went with West Virginia on that one is I think there's still a will to win. Like Virginia, I don't know that they care a whole lot of football's not that great. Virginia Tech, I think they would like for it to not fall off, but when they're $35 million a year behind on television revenue, I don't know that they're going to pump the money in. I think West Virginia is crazy enough to do it, and I would love to see a home and home between here and Charleston.
Yeah, that's another one where the fan bases would, I think, either wind up in a riot or mesh well. Thoughts on the types of teams Tennessee should be getting? Is it just a question of give me bigger names, or is there more to it? Is there a different reason, something else to it?
Yeah, I considered the name value of the program. So Penn State was on my list. It's a passionate fan base. It's a cool place for both to travel back and forth. I was also the lone vote for UCF for several reasons. One, they are Power 5. If the schedule changes in the SEC, get you back into the state of Florida. I'm also trying to pitch something that maybe they'll sign up for. You have the Josh Heupel UCF history, and also they have a very passionate fan base at UCF. So if you get on Twitter or X or Y or whatever, and there's a back and forth, it's going to happen between Tennessee and UCF, which is now a Power 5 program.
And UCF, to me, like Memphis, and there might have been one at Louisville, to me, those would be your second best.
Yes.
Give me 2 Power 5s. I don't want to see Memphis as your best Power 5. I don't want to see UCF as your best Power 5. Sadly, though, and Memphis isn't Power 5, but Memphis was the only non-Power 5 on there. But I don't want to see UCF as your Power 5. I don't want to see Louisville as your number 1 Power 5. The problem is that's exactly the direction they're going, it appears. Vince, I'll let you finish up this segment.
I did a blend of brand and history and also geography. I went with Washington.
That's a good one that they've scheduled. Yeah.
You know, you have the watch the game on the water, the Bald Navy type thing, and they've never played Washington. They are going to in the upcoming schedule, and plus
Kudos.
it gets you out west. That's a positive. Notre Dame, obviously, the history, Milko, South Bend. Again, the atmosphere that fans would get to experience in a home and home. And then Clemson. Clemson's actually closer than Georgia Tech, which is crazy by a few miles. And obviously they're an elite program. And then Florida State gets you into the state of Florida. And that history of the national championship will always be there. They are a special team.
See, and I think fan experience should go into it as well. I mentioned Ohio State. West Virginia is a crazy place to go. Michigan would be a cool place to go. I think Provo, where you're having a stadium sitting beside a mountaintop that you've never been to, and it wouldn't have been kicking off at 11 o'clock Central Time. TV would have liked that one, probably been at prime time. That's what I'm for. Give the fans something. Not all fans can make those trips. I get that. But for years, Tennessee has scheduled those, and Tennessee fans have traveled gangbusters to Oregon, to Oklahoma. They've lost in recent years doing that. But everyone I've talked to have said, yeah, I had a good trip to Oregon. Yeah, that was a cool trip to Oklahoma. So to me, that should count for something. Take care of your fans. But we'll continue to let you vote there. It's still at below par, so keep voting. All right, when we come back, Tennessee tried to use money as an excuse for dropping out of BYU and picking up Virginia. Can't do that anymore. Have you seen the money that Tennessee's making? We'll show you next.